I know what you guys are thinking with the injury comment, and Bo injures himself a lot, and I disagree. I don't injure myself a lot. My wife would agree with you, but she, bless her heart, she would be wrong. Wait a minute, make sure she's not in here. This is a 1965 F100 that we affectionately call Winston. This is my daughter's truck that we are restoring, and today we're going to do a little bit of surgery. I actually have quite a bit of it apart already. So we are going to be replacing the rear main seal. This is a 390 FE Ford engine. We rebuilt it a year ago. It only has about 2 hours of runtime. Long story, but yeah, stick with me and we'll get to it. All right, looking over the truck just a little bit more here. Here's the 390. Like I said, it's very recently been rebuilt. It only has a couple hours of runtime on it. The engine bay does look pretty well worn, a lot of rust, whatnot, but we will get to that. Here is the T5 laying on the floor. Works really well. It's out of a 2000 model Mustang, if I remember right. Here's the bed. This is obviously a different bed that we've purchased. Much better shape than what we had. It does have some dents and dings, as you can see, but it is extremely solid. Inside and out. The floor will get replaced, but for the most part, it is very, very solid, including the tailgate cab. So, very original interior, original steering wheel, steering column, all of that. Door panels. The cards are gone. I actually removed those. They were just falling apart, but we will do something here. I don't know if it will be custom or original. Depends on what my daughter wants. Original AM radio that I disassembled and got that working again. It's one of the very early transistor radios. It's pretty neat listening to some tunes on that. Does not sound very good, but it works. You can see gigantic hole in the floor, the inspection cover off, but boy, that makes it nice getting that transmission out. So there's the bell housing reinstalled, components laying over here in the floor. Yeah, original bench seat. She does want buckets that we will be putting in eventually. Normal Midwest truck with the rust holes, or as Derek from Vice Grip Garage would say, weight reduction. That's pretty much the next project once we get the engine all ironed out, is to start sheet metal work. So overall, very solid truck. This fender's in pretty rough shape, is definitely going to need replaced. The fender on the other side, the radiator support's shot, inner fenders are shot, but this fender has a hole, you see right there. I think I can get that patched pretty easy. It does have a pretty good dent right here that I need to get pounded out, but for the most part, it's much more solid than the other side. But yeah, this door is very solid. Cab corners are gone, like a normal Midwest truck. Rockers are shot. They will get replaced as well. But the bed is excellent. So okay, we are going to start taking this apart here, see how we do. And this thing's been draining for several days now, so it should, in theory, be empty. We shall see, huh? Let's move this slide over here. Move it over here. I'm really hoping I do not have to disconnect one or both of the motor mounts and raise it. I know, well, I've read in the cars that that's an absolute necessity. We do have a decent amount of room here under between the oil pan and the cross member on being a truck, but yeah, that's no guarantee. We shall see. Oops. Let's put that right there. Yeah, so let me get the rest of these bolts out and see if I can get this oil pan off. All right, I'm going to show you here how I like to do oil pan gaskets, right or wrong. This is how I choose to do it. So the first thing is, obviously we cleaned all the old gasket material, oil, all of that off this flange. We want it as clean as we can get it. And keep in mind, I'm no professional mechanic here, folks. I've done my share of engine rebuilds and you know, working on engines and whatnot, but I am no professional. Although I do play one on TV occasionally. No, I don't. But you know, you can use too much. But what we're going to do here is we're going to glue this gasket onto the pan, and then I typically put a small coat on the other half of the gasket when we go to install it on the engine as well. Doesn't need to be a ton on the other side, but you know, this is something you really just don't want to leak. I mean, you don't want anything to leak, obviously, but, and I like to use, this is black RTV. There's gray RTV as well. It seems to work just about as good. I do have some of that for, not if, but when I run out of this. It's looking like it's fixing to happen here pretty quick. But yeah, we're just going to basically glue this gasket down. And that's that. We'll let it sit while we work on that main cap, and it should be ready to go when we're done. And so there we go. So we've got the RTV on there, the gasket's on there. It's not pressed down all the way. We'll let it kind of start to set up while we work on that main cap, and then when we go to bolt the pan on, that we'll put another skim coat on the top of this gasket, and it will conform to everything as we tighten the pan down. Now, it does make it a real bear to get it back off again, as you saw when we did it earlier. You destroy the gasket, but it makes for a very good seal. Okay, let me bring you in here a little bit so you can see I do have the main cap out now, and you can kind of see how it's laid out for an FE engine, which is a little bit unique. So here is the bottom of the engine block, you can see, and you can see the two little side seals here with the pin. You know, all we've done is pull the rear main cap out. Sorry for the lighting there, but yeah, you can see kind of where the seal lays out in there. And I'm not sure you can pick that up on the camera or not. You can see how one side is up in there and one side is dropped down. Let me jump over to the main cap here and it'll make a little more sense. But I did offset the seams about probably not quite a 1/4 of an inch or close to it, and that was recommended. So far everything's looking right. I have not verified that I put the seal in the right direction though, so that's the next thing. And knowing me, I didn't, so we'll see. Okay, so we've got the rear main cap here. Take a look at it. So this is the side that you were seeing from the back of the engine. Okay, you can see the RTV that's still on it. There's the bottom side. That big oval hole in the middle is the drain. So as you can see, see if we can tip this up. You can see some light through there. There we go, right there. So that drains oil down through a lot of what comes down from the oil galley and all of that. That drains down and then drains back down through here into the pan. There is it looks like there's a groove right there on the bearing, and it kind of surprised me for a minute, but I cannot catch my fingernail in it, so it looks worse than it is, I guess. So we'll touch on another video about that here later on, but what we had was when we initially broke this engine in, we had a cam failure. It's a flat tappet cam. The break-in process did everything by the book, but it was unsuccessful and ate a couple of lifters and a couple of the cam lobes. So this engine did have some trash go through it, but I have not found any large chunks of metal anywhere, in the pan or anything like that, so that's good. The filter must have caught everything to speak of. It now has another cam in it that has been broken in successfully. We've probably got 2 hours of runtime on it or so now, so we're not completely out of the woods yet, but it went as it should, let's put it that way. But I kind of couldn't really run it too much more with this oil leak. I was worried about it getting on the cam. But as you can see, this seal right there, there's a little spot in it. I'm assuming that's where our leak is, but looking at it, I do have the seal in the correct way. That's encouraging. So I don't know if it got damaged when I put it in or what, but we're going to take this out, clean it up, see if I can tell what happened, if there's a burr in there or something that maybe I just didn't get cleaned up. But I'm hoping that's the problem. I'll take a closer look at what's up above as well, the other half of the seal. So looking at this a little more and doing a little more reading, I've noticed these oil grooves in the crankshaft. You see those oil grooves? Those oil grooves right there. Those look to be awfully worn. I could be wrong. I have not seen a picture yet of what they look like new or what they're supposed to look like or anything. So if anybody in the comments has any thoughts on that, let me know if you're an FE expert. Because I really can't find anything obviously wrong or where this was leaking. So the little spot I saw on the main cap half of the seal was just a casting defect, or not casting, but a molding defect. So it shouldn't have been affecting the seal at all by the looks of it. I did have it installed correctly. Shocker. So yeah, I'm going to continue reassembling this in the hopes that I correct something that I can't see, but that's the only thing I can think of there, is if those oiling grooves are not large enough maybe and it's not returning the oil like it should. I don't know. So yeah, Let me know below in the comments if you have any thoughts on that, or if you're an expert, or if you know somebody that is, and because I'm worried I get this back together and it's going to leak again, but we shall see. Okay, so I changed up how I did this in comparison to last time, but if you look, there's a skim coating of RTV down both sides, but on the top flange here and here, I didn't do that last time. Again on this side, and then you can see where the side seals go, there and there. And I have the new seal installed, the correct orientation, as you can see there. And I do have a little dollop of RTV right on the end of that, and it's offset about 3/8 of an inch, which is a little more than I did last time. And the other half of the seal is in the engine with an offset in the opposite direction there. So I think we're ready to go back in, and then I think we're going to get it all torqued back down and everything, and then I'll put the side seals in. I may do that a little differently as well, so I'll be back with you shortly. All right, let me bring you in here and show you what we got going on. So we have the main cap reinstalled, retorqued. It drops down underneath here, and there we go. And we have the seals installed, and I showed you the upper face of the main cap. I did not put silicone on that last time, and that very well could have been my leak. I don't know. I didn't want to put too much on there, and affect the torque, the squish on the bearing, if you know what I mean. So I did put a skim coat on it, retorqued the cap back in place. I did the side seals, you can see right there and there. I still used the side seals, or most of them. But what I did was I took a tidbit I read online from someone who claims to be an FE expert. I don't know, I can't verify, but what they typically do is squirt that groove clear full of silicone, use the seal to push it clear down to the bottom until they see it squishing out the front. And that's what I did, and pushed them in till I couldn't push them in anymore, and trimmed them off, and that's where they are. So what we'll do is now we will we'll install the oil pan and pickup, but we'll put a skim coat of silicone on that oil pan, and probably put a little skim coat right there, a little dollop right there and right there on each of those seals. Probably do the same thing on the front mating surfaces of the timing chain cover as well. So anyways, I will bring you back in when we have it buttoned back up. Okay, all right, as you guys can see, we've got the oil pan back on here. We're going to let all the RTV dry, cure for the evening. We will probably go once around the oil pan again tomorrow, just to double check, because a lot of times these gaskets, you'll torque everything, and then the gasket will give just a little bit, and then you'll need to kind of retorque everything, and that's even before a heat cycle. So we will probably just go around the oil pan one more time tomorrow before we run it. I am going to go ahead today and put the flywheel on, put the bell housing on, connect the exhaust, put the starter on. We're not going to fill it with oil until tomorrow either. I've got to tighten up both of the engine mounts still. We're going to run it tomorrow again with no transmission on it. We're going to get it good and hot and see if, fingers crossed, if we have fixed that oil leak. So I'm really hoping it wasn't the seal and it was just me not putting a coat of RTV on the what you would consider the top of that main cap, I guess you would say, because now that I think about it, there's nothing there to seal that. So that's probably, if that's the case, that's 100% my fault. Because I'm almost positive I did not do that. So we can connect the clutch linkage back up to the engine block, because I had to disconnect that to be able to tip the engine up, lift it up. So we have some things to do. I will touch base with you guys again here when it's all buttoned up and ready to go in preparation for tomorrow. And then we'll probably do a separate video on after, if it doesn't leak, after I have the transmission back in it and everything, we'll probably go take it for a test drive, drive around a little bit, get it good and hot, and just make a separate video on that. So for those of you that wonder where the name of this truck came from, my daughter and I are both big history fans, and someone we greatly admire from history is Winston Churchill. So what better name to name a grumpy old white truck after than Winston Churchill? So there you have it. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I know this was a bit of a long form video, but hopefully someone gathered something from it, learned a little bit of something. I know I did, so that's always a plus. But if you don't mind, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you like what you see. We will be doing more content like this, and other stuff, sim racing, flying airplanes, things like that. Yeah, hit the notification bell as well to let you know when I do post more. Have a great day.